Well, it turned out to be an absolutely beautiful day in Ohio. The wind stayed pretty low. Actually, there was no complaints about the weather. I had some complaints about the training. We'll get to that in a minute. I had no complaints about the weather whatsoever. What's on? What's that noise back there? Ollie's got his stupid seat on.
I don't think so.
Yeah, he does. I can hear it hissing back there. Drives me crazy. Anyway, we literally finished up not that long ago. The kids end school at 12:40 or at 2:45. So Amy and I, if we're not going to be done by, if we're not done by noon, there's no point in even rushing getting done because it's 25 minutes back out to the house and 25 minutes back in to the kids' school. So we usually just hang out around Macedonia until 2:45. I had to get Ava a cake for her birthday, so I stopped and got it. It was a whole production. They couldn't figure out. Show them the cake. Can you show it? No, you can't. Never mind.
Yeah, I can.
They couldn't find a box for the cake, so they're running around looking for a box for the cake, and I had to wait, and I'm looking because I gotta go pick the kids up. So Amy was very nice and went and got me a pulp, and I got the cake for the kids and picked them up. So a lot going on this morning before the sets even started. You guys saw Amy and I train Arrowhead, Hanover, and Memento Mori. Memento Mori is getting strong and feeling good. Arrowhead a little bumpy in the last turn. I'm going to pitch the hobbles on him for Friday's training. I'm going to train him up real good on Friday with the anticipation of him being qualified within the next 2 weeks. Likely week. I would think next Thursday. I've already been in 2.5 with him 3 times. If I train him in 2.1 or 2.2 on Friday, if it's a decent day, he should be pretty well ready to rock. I'll tell you, Melisandre trained this morning. She trained very, very good. She's ready to rock now. We'll train her Friday. You know what? I'll train her and Arrowhead Hanover together, potentially in 2.1 on Friday morning. That is a plan. Yes. Who else trained this morning? Eberaldillo trained, just 1 mile and 30. Just wanted to go easy with him. He's qualifying on Thursday afternoon. Thursday morning. Now, I won't be here for the qualifiers. I get a full slate. We get 5 in on Friday. A lot to talk about. We did make some roster changes at the very last minute. Right at the box closing in Ontario, we had to jostle some horses around. You saw that Arson is now in to go at the Meadows. He'll be coming over here, first truck over. Time is on my side. The Open was not going to fill, as I told you they would do. They found a way to get him out. They wrote the backup class as the Open. All the other horses fit it, except for maybe Time is on my side and 1 or 2 others. That's fine. We'll bring Arson over here and race him against those horses this week. Time is on my side. We'll be getting in the Open at Mohawk, and I hope James can drive. If he can't, I'll be there Saturday night. I'll actually be there Friday night. I see that Oh Hill No and Rosetta get in together this week. So, depending on the time frame, I know my last 2 drives are catch drives on Friday. What I might do is just book off the last few races at the Meadows and head towards Ontario and drive Rosetta on Friday night. I assume James is going to pick Oh Hill No. Whatever one he doesn't want, I'll drive that one. That's fine with me. And then we have, who else do we go with? Memento Mori, Arrowhead, Hanover. I trained Captain Incredible last half in 15, first half in 1:20. So a good mile from him. Going to do a little vet work on him. No problems at all. As I said, we've been pretty good about staying in front of everybody's ailments and issues this year. And Captain Incredible is no different. So we will, I suspect, do his knees and ankles up front and train him up end of the week. Dr. Latessa has got a little work to do tomorrow with the burn. Now, I'll start with this, I guess. Solidarity. Clearly pulling his hobbles in is not helping the horse. So we're going to do exactly what we were going to do all along. We are going to, what's this gentleman doing here? Broke down? Poor bugger. We are going to cryo splints on Solidarity tomorrow. Hopefully he's got enough gas there. He showed me he doesn't have a whole lot of nitrogen left. Tomorrow would be ideal if he could do Solidarity in ACDC. Cryo splints on Solidarity, send him back over to Ontario. Let those hobbles back out with 7 holes and get him on a bigger track. It's not the turns, it's not the straightaways, so it's very odd, actually. the breaks that he's making. So I would hope and assume that it was the splints. They're going to be fixed up tomorrow. I don't really know what to tell you if they're not. It's just not something you see all the time. He's not sore anywhere. He's not lame anywhere that I can see. His feet don't appear to bother him. He was no different with flip-flops on or off, so there's not that. He x-rayed and fluoroscope perfect for Dr. Latessa. Everything was done. Or vet checked out, I should say. And he's got a beautiful gait. Clean, smooth gait. So it is a bit of an enigma. We will do those splints, though, and I'll send him over to Ontario, let him train down on a bigger, softer track, and we'll see how he does. And on the topic of sending them over, I think we'll send Riding the Rodeo over to a bigger track for a big giant filly. It's not that she needs any help. She's been training great, but we'll send her over there also to finish off her training. So we get 2 2-year-olds heading to Ontario this week coming. Grand Slam deal will head, I guess, the next week, because remember, I want to make sure that there's not just one maiden over there. If there is, then we have a problem, right? Jim Marie is there right now. Unless she wins on Thursday, it's a moot point. I just want to make sure that we don't have horses. We aren't sending horses over there to trip on one another, creating our own problems. So Grand Slam Dio, she was a little bit sick. Her liver was high last week. We're going to work on that. I'll train her up real good Friday. I guess we'll slow mile tomorrow with her, and then a fast mile on Friday with her and see how she feels, with the thought process of maybe racing her here the following week. I guess that was not my plan originally. I believe she belongs in Ontario, but she's going to have to wait her turn right now. So I guess we'll see how Jim Bree does on Thursday first. Now, let's get to the rest of the horses. It was not a perfect day. I saw a lot of issues with horses wearing winter corks now. Track is like a summer track right now at Northfield. It was great today. And I'm almost absolutely positive that some of those horses with the winter corks on that haven't been making breaks. Jailbird Jog has been great the last 3 weeks. Well, I guess we'll start with set 1 because she was in set 1. So Jailbird Jog made a break starting into the backstretch. Amy thought she was just in heat real bad. She said she was acting up in the warm-up. She was not. She was Anthony. I went with her the other day. She was perfect. She was far from perfect today. And she said, I knew she was going to make a break. I just thought if I could get her up into gear, she'd be fine, which was a good thought, but it's not the way it played out. She made a break starting into the backstretch. Steady Vola was great as always. The rarest of rare breaks. Emerald Tom never runs and ran in the last turn. Again, I would want to believe, now take it with a grain of salt, I may be wrong. So you get a little bit of a shiner. The horse bulldogged me today. Sterling Hanover, something spooked to me. He jumped. He was lucky he didn't jump on me. He jumped forward, hit me, knocked me over, almost jumped on my leg. Anyway, I'm fine, but it's one thing, and as I explained to everybody, I've been around horses my whole life, but if you put yourself in a stupid place, don't be complaining when you get hurt. And that was my kind of blunt message to our caretakers today. It can happen to anybody. It almost happened to me. If he had jumped a half a foot to the left, he might have landed right in my leg and might have broken my leg. But instead, all was fine. He must have loosened his shoe, and he was, because he lost his shoe in the mile. Still tried a great today, that horse. We'll talk about him in a minute. So, what would lead me to believe that it was the corks on today's track? Well, the first start with Emerald Tom, here's a horse that never ever makes breaks and made a break in the last turn. It has been bomb-proof in every sense of the word for the past 2 months. For him just to make a break while accelerating in the last turn where he's been great is shocking to me. Another perfect example, Rico Tubbs. This may change Rico Tubbs' staking.
Rico Tubbs.
What's his name? He can race in the standardbred, which is fine. Randy had reached out to me and asked about the standardbred. I said, well, I did pay him into the Houghton. Geez, you have to be top of your class to think you're going to race in the Houghton. And for Rico to make the break today, and Eric said he just wasn't himself today. He said I could tell he was going to run. He just was all out of sorts. He was pacey. I said, Eric, I'm pretty sure, 1, he just got shot, and 2, he still got winter cork on, which he shouldn't have on. So Enos is going to have to remove those shoes and put proper shoes on him. I would say when you're looking at those 2 horses who never run, and they made breaks in the dumbest places. Last turn while loose and accelerating for Emerald Tom. Very rare for him. Never before, I don't believe. And Rico Tubbs starting in the backstretch for no particular reason. And Eric said it was only a matter of time. So Those two horses, I will give a pass to and say that just got to switch those shoes around. It's so important to have cork on them in the winter, but it can be a real detriment when you're dealing with a nice, soft, summery type track to have additional and unneeded cork on. It can be a real detriment, and you don't want to have it on too long anyway. It can start to sore them up a little bit. So we got to get the corks off all of them right away. And I think these two guys would be two to start with. Roser and Bobby was interfered with, obviously. You can see what had happened. I didn't want to check her left or right. I wanted to stay right there and just have Joey get out of the way. But he just took a little bit long getting out of the way, and Bobby kind of get up on top of him, and she just got a little excitable and made a break. But she was doing her job perfect before then. This filly's come a long way in a very short period of time. I was happy with her attitude today, and when she got back trotting, she was fine. It was just a matter of her, and 8 times out of 10, we put any horse in the situation she was in, and the same result is going to happen. That wasn't a moment of...
Is that the car you used to have?
Malibu, yeah, it was a long time ago. It was not a moment of, frustration. She didn't do anything wrong. You just needed Joey just to get out of the way a little quicker with Emerald Tom, and I would have been fine. Nevertheless, she made a little break, but you could see her temperament today was much better and throttled back from the other day. Go Strong Hanover, you guys are starting to quietly get a look at this horse. He's no joke. I keep saying it. He's one of our best horses. This is another horse that has never done anything wrong and has been perfect from day one. And Cherry's Girl did well, avoided all the chaos in the mile and finished up her mile good. Tyler said to me, he goes, I just don't know if she's ready to trot with those two colts up there yet. So, Tyler, here's the thing. Those two colts up there have done it right from day one. In fact, Steady Volo trained good even with a curb. Those two horses are top of our food chain right now. We know that. Secondly, Cherry's Girl missed some time, made some breaks, really is trying to get back into the swing of things. So she's nowhere near what you would say on the top of her game. She's getting there, but she's not there. So you're expecting her to compete with our two best horses. When the ball was in their court, they were sitting 1-2, and you were sitting 3. The fact that you were as close as you were at the finish was impressive enough for me. So Cherry's Girl did her work well too. So just a recap of set 1, Jailbird Jog, whether she was in heat or whether it was the cork, she's been training good, and today was not her best day. Steady Volo was awesome. Emerald Tom, 100%. For him, Rico Tubbs and him, for sure, it was the cork. Those two horses never make breaks, ever. Roser and Bobby was interfered with, plain and simple. You can see that. And the other two horses, Go Strong Hanover, Cherry's Girl, were great. Now moving on to set 2, Joe J. Fotag has been awesome. I was waiting the whole way down the lane. Had to know, here's a horse that clearly is going to have an issue with some quarter cracks because he let one loose today left front. We're about to turn, and Eric said, hey, Anthony, this had to know a little bit left front more than usual. And I'm like, geez, we just had knees x-rayed. It's that time of year. We've had 2 Marseilles, and both of them had issues with their knees. Jeepers, I hope it's not his knees. And this was bugging me for the whole time. We pull up, and he goes, no, a quarter crack bleeding there left front. I don't know how to explain the quarter crack issue. We haven't had that ever. Never had a quarter crack issue with babies, ever. They're the rarest of rare things, and somehow we had an abundance of them this winter. And somebody said, well, it's just a hard track. I don't think so. We've trained on hard tracks before, even when we were at Tamiko, and it was rock hard sometimes. I don't remember ever having quarter crack issues with 2-year-olds. There's 2 horses in the barn, Neuromancer and had to know that it's a trend, and I don't want it to continue, quite frankly. I was very happy to say it. I said, he goes, quarter crack, and I said, well, quarter crack is much better than an x-ray, a bad x-ray on a knee. And for me, I'll take the quarter crack today over, if they said, you got to back off and blister those knees. All right, fine. But a quarter crack is, of the 2 ailments today, I'll take the quarter crack for sure. Had to know it was good. Did his work well. Muscled through it. Got it done. Joe J. Fotag was awesome. The only concern in there was Degas, another horse that made a break the other day and made a break today. And I said to Jason, what's going on with this horse? He goes, just a little bumpy in the turns. I don't really know what to say. Look down. She got all the corks on also. So, as I tell you, it's the corks. Keep in mind, I have no proof of this. The only proof will be when we take the corks off and they go back to training good. Then you can look back at this video and say, oh, well, yeah, clearly he was right. Until then, it's one of those trust but verify type situations. I can tell you none of them are lame, but I can tell you there were a few horses made breaks today. I've already mentioned 3 names that never make breaks. So Degas made one today. She's been training great. For her to make that break today was a little surprising. We'll get a look at her and see what's going on. There was no mention of lameness, soreness, or anything like that. Joe J. Fotag was great. I told you guys, I like when you pour the work to the horses and they come out on the other side and now they have a chip on their shoulder. Now they want to, not a negative one, but they really want to get at it. Their understanding is much better than it was before last week, and that's how Joe J. Fotag was. She won her set today. I thought Royal Duchess got up and beat me till I watched the replay. Royal Duchess was a close second, and then flying on the inside was Sterling Hanover. Lost a shoe right hind and was still very good today. So really happy to see Sterling Hanover excelling. He charged right through them past the wire and opened up. That's what I want to see, and that's what we've been waiting to see. And then Head to Know, 4 in there. Zena Kemp was scratched, as you guys know. 3 horses yesterday. We X-rayed 4. 1 got a green light today for training. That was Blue Rare. We'll talk about her in a minute. And the other 3 horses, the vet said there's nothing really wrong. But if you're concerned, if you're bringing me a concern, okay, fine. We'll fix it easily. Blister. I said, what about Blister? 2 weeks of just jogging, and then we'll reassess after the first training mile back. He said, perfect. Sounds great to me. I don't think you'll have any issues other than that. And I think that was, I needed to point that out this morning. People heard me say, like, Zena Kemp or Pretty Eyes and Lies were going to back off those horses, and I saw some shares go up for sale. I need to be as clear as I can with everybody. Even in past years, those horses would have been training today. I was just approaching that issue on March the 3rd with the utmost caution. And that is exactly why they didn't go today, and no other reason. They all jogged, and they all jogged sound. 3rd set. That was a scratch of Pretty Eyes and Lies in the 3rd set. Supermind was great. Solidarity, obviously, I can't continue to make videos and say, it's not concerning me. It's not. No, those breaks, they are not concerning in the least. I think we'll be able to look back at these videos and remember that he made breaks. He's got 2, I don't know. He's got too slick of a gait to be making this breaks. It has to be soreness. We've x-rayed him everywhere. Nothing was found. I can't see any lameness on any limb of any kind. The obvious suspect would be those splints. And it was kind of made me feel better the other day when I saw ACDC. He has a splint that's bothering him. He made the same kind of break in the same kind of way. So I'm more apt to believe that this is a splint problem. But I can't in good faith tell you I'm 100% positive. But what I am going to tell you is we are going to cryo those splints tomorrow. Dr. Latessa put it on his book for tomorrow. We are going to send Solidarity over to train down on the 5/8 mile track, a softer track at Stutzman's, and I think he'll excel over there also. He'll have to come back and race in Pennsylvania, wherever else we race him, but I am reminded, and I was again today, that Arson himself also, who's probably one of the slicker gated horses we've had in a while, made plenty of breaks training down. Now his was not splints, it was knees and feet. We were able to manage them, and then they ended up not bothering him as a 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. I think Kentucky played a role in that also. But all these little things, they'll drive you crazy, but you have to continue to push forward. So that's what we're going to do with Solidarity. He did make a break today in the 3rd set. Kind of interfered with me, but I was in top speed going around him. Man, you guys got a real close look at how good Blue Rare is today and how focused she is. She's no joke. She can really fly. And when I went around Solidarity, the other horses were, 5 lengths ahead of me? They could have been 10 lengths ahead of me. I was still going to run them down. Blue Rare is just a powerhouse of a filly, and she was absolutely awesome. Supermind. Leland Hanover looked good again. Those 3 horses right across the track and right behind us, Don't Ask Again. She's starting to look racier and happier on the track. So I was very happy with everybody in the 3rd set. Disappointed with Solidarity. I guess not shocked, but a little disappointed. We'll start to nip that in the bud tomorrow. 4th set. Neuromancer was good, but he is interfering again on that super hard track last week in the cold. He trained awesome. He'd winter cork on. Today it was more of a detriment. As I'd said earlier, touched his outside knee, got into himself a little bit, jumped on his foot, pulling up. Just annoying stuff. But he's got such a nice attitude. It's almost like when you're talking to him, like after you go up and pet his head, whatever. It's almost like he understands what you're saying. And I just, to myself, saying, we just got to make a few little changes here. I look up and he's looking at me like he's hearing me talk about it. And he's just a neuromancer. He's just a very personable, very smart looking animal. And it just simply is a matter of mechanics. And we're not talking about a big thing, just tweaks, just minor tweaks here and there. Aunt Sarah, she went by me in the middle, flying at the wire. Man, she looked good. Judy's money's been a little flat the last 3 weeks. I said to Jason, all right, we're going to have to tighten the bolts up and all Judy. She's thrown it in a neutral a little bit from what I can see. And to be fair, I haven't sat behind her, so I don't know. There's a good chance I'm going to sit behind her next week. Royal Flush Dio was good. Tomboy Strong just continues to be an absolute professional on the track. She does everything perfectly. In highest honors, I think Tyler just thought he was going to let Tomboy Strong roll up into his rearview mirror and it wouldn't be a problem. She's a little more ferocious than her brother, that's for sure. They get to Adelaide, and I'm watching it all unfold. And I said, yeah, that's not going to end well for her highest honors. They have an 1/8 of a mile sprint. She's going to have to sprint him. And she did. He was good. She was better. So the whole set was good, though. I wasn't disappointed with anybody in there. Judy's money, I think, a little bit flat. Need to work on her a little bit. Fifth set, the Pacers, they were ready to rock. I had said to Amy went by me at the quarter pole with Millie Girl, and she was pulling on old Millie.
Oh, we got some mail.
She was pulling on old Millie. Oh, my bad. She was pulling on Millie pretty good. I said, a little warm, the big girl today. I said, you forget who her mama was? I said, her mom wore a snake cord her whole life. She goes, well, she's been so quiet. I said, yeah, it's a nice sunny day. And Millie came to rock and was very good, but a little grabby. I said, put the snake cord back on, Millie Girl.
I'm going to let the dog out.
All right, go ahead. Take your cake in. Don't drop it, for the love of God. I'll bring your bag in. All right, there, hop along. I'll bring your crutch in. Get out there, crutches. Sweet Lake was very good. Perfect thought. My name is Swaney was the only one that acted up in there, and I know exactly why. We put a chain in her mouth, dog chain instead of a snake cord. I know a lot of you horsemen out there, St. Anthony, you say snake cord and dog chain an awful lot for the babies. Listen, I don't mind them being racy, but they need to be under control. And Swaney is not our first run in with Heston Blue Chip. I like the Heston Blue Chips. I've said it a million times. They're kind of the meat and potatoes type horse. The meat and potatoes type horse that I like. We've had a lot of good luck. That's weird. They've always, but they're all the same way. Like Head to Know also. We had him. He was not Head to Know. I forget his name. He was a nice colt, went in like 51, and we sold him for good money. He was a Heston Blue Chip, but he wore a snake cord forever too. So for the horsemen out there, when we train them in group sets and they're a little racy, we will put not a lot of mini bits in our barn. I hate mini bits. They make people feel good. You put them, I'll just put a mini bit on it. I've never seen them do great. The ones that wear mini bits really probably don't pull that bad at all. The ones that need them probably need a snake cord. So it's just a choice. That's how we like to do it. And when it comes to Swaney, she wore a dog chain today for the first time, and was pretty sensitive about it. Jason, I didn't see her, but Jason said she was, acting up, very timid, very funny about it in her mouth, and didn't train the greatest. He said she was flat. I said she was a runaway last week, and he said, well, it's clearly the chain. I said, that's fine. We just got to work with her with the chain. She should be jogging with it every single day. And that's exactly what she'll do. My name is Swaney is not 1/5 of a second slower than anybody else in our barn. Come on in. Yeah, I want to talk to you about your horses today. You got to talk about Millie Girl. Get in here. Amy just got home. So, my name is Swaney. You just got to work with her. The speed is there. And she's a likable filly, and not our first Heston Blue Chip, and not surprised at all. Put it that way. So you want to tell everybody about Millie Girl today?
Not yet.
Oh, Amy's got poultice on her face and a dirty sweater on. Everybody. How about Millie Girl?
What about her?
tell us about what happened with Millie Girl today.
What do you mean what happened? She was really good.
Little warm, was she?
Warm, yeah.
Uh-huh. So we'll wear the snake cord on Millie from now on?
Yes.
Uh-huh. Millie Girl won the set, was very, very strong. Such a nice filly, just a real treat to be around. And don't get me wrong, you hear me say snake cord, you might say, oh my God, the thing. I don't mind that. I mean, they're going to get a little racy, fine. Just put the snake cord on them and you can control them. I probably have 10 horses in the barn right now that have snake cords on. And that might seem like an abundance to you, but that would be like us saying, oh, just put a little mini bit on. I don't like the mini bits. Just go right to the snake cords, they're a little more controllable, and they learn to behave. So in a setting like that, this is a bit of a chaotic race type setting, and I think that's why our horses are so useful when they get to the track, because there's very few scenarios you're going to throw at them that they haven't seen already. So Millie Girl, great. Sweet Lake was good. Perfect Thought was climbing over them in behind. My Name is Swaney was the only one. We just got to work with her. And Riding the Rodeo was also good. Eric said she was very good. Now, I had a number of people talk about Diosa Deladano. I talked to Steve after. He said, she was rough as hell the whole way. Hold on, I'm going to tell you about that. And also, Patricia messaged me and said, I know you don't like me saying pull their heads up, but her head needs to come up. Normally, I would argue with you, but in this case, you're right. I said the same thing when I come off. So this is what happened. You guys may or may not know, we don't use a lot of shadow rolls, but Diosa Deladano, like every other dancing Yankee we've ever had, sees everything on the track. Right? What was the name of that? Born to Dance. He could jump over a quarter and see it coming from a quarter of a mile away. And with just reading the text. With her, finally, I was going to put a screen on her today. We looked around. We couldn't find a screen in the barn. I don't even know where it was. So I just put a shadow roll on her. Well, what happened was it did help a little bit. Two things. One, they have a head pole and a Murphy blind in the inside of that filly. I haven't gone with her in a while. She doesn't need either. Maybe a head pole, but she isn't running in, and she's out off the head pole and Murphy blind the whole way. So when you guys saw her getting rough, she's on the left line kind of with her head twisted around. She doesn't need that stuff in the inside. I'm not really sure how it got on there. Jason she must have been running in a little bit, but she'll dart around things. And with her head being low, it wasn't that her head at low. She was trying to see over the shadow roll too, so she'd always just lean into her head check, and her head looked low because it was. Now, it's an easy thing to fix. We'll just put a birch bit or a Crit Davis in her mouth for a few weeks, and she'll stop that trying to look over it. But she needs to stop looking down and start looking ahead. And when I called on her late in the stretch too, I knew that there was some shit on the track halfway down the lane, and I didn't want to tempt fate. So I just let her go by it, and then I ducked her to the inside and I growled at her. If you watch her pace after the wire, you'll see that that filly's got tons and tons and tons of speed. She is close to her knees. She may need a set of knee boots. She does not need the head pole and Murphy blind, maybe the head pole at the very most. Just like a dull burr on the inside. No Murphy blind. We'll put knee boots on her, and we'll make sure her head is up about 2 inches. After that, you're going to see all those optical wrinkles that you saw today will disappear.
Why do you have a light center hollows on her? Her gait isn't...
Her gait is fine. Her gait is perfect. It's just she's doing more thinking than doing. And it seems to be indicative of the breed, because Fancy was the same way. She'd look at stuff. You'd score her down. Well, Mark called her dangerous. Mark literally called I'm Fancy, like one of the horses I loved, dangerous when she was at Yonkers. Because he said she'd jump stuff and look at stuff. She was terrified of the pylons. If you even got close to the pylons, like that far away, she'd shy away from them. She'd jump over stuff, she'd look at stuff, she'd touch a knee. But when she was good, she was that far away from her knees. She might wear knee boots, but she never hit them. And if she did, she just brushed them once in a while. And she was always good like that. But if you tried to deviate from the way she liked things, she was terrible. And I think that's where she kind of got that reputation from out east, but certainly didn't have it here. And Diosa Deladano, when I put her in gear, she was all business. So yes, Patricia, you're right. Her head needs to come up about 1.5 inches. We can do that with a birch bit or a Crit Davis, and she'll wear it. I guarantee you she will. We'll keep that shadow roll on her. We'll put a set of knee boots on her. We'll take that Murphy blind off. And then, as I said, all those wrinkles that you saw, they'll disappear like that. So all the pacers in there were good. My Name is Swaney. We'll showcase her one of these days. She's got lots of speed. Just the Heston Blue Chip demanded a chain, and she didn't want the chain on herself today. Probably should have jogged with it all week, and that would be my fault.
She wore it on
No,
Monday.
she didn't. She might have wore the chain once or twice, but if she's 2 fingers jogging with a chain on, it's not going to help. What you need to do is...
2 fingers jogging with the
So
snake cord on.
that's what I'm saying. You score her down a little bit, let her feel the chain, let her have some respect. It just... repetition. Sixth set, that was my fault. I was mad at myself. It wasn't just that the horses made errors today. I made errors too. I never, ever should have put that line pull on hanger 1. It was just stupid. So 2 errors I made. 1, I put aluminums on him up front. I thought that he would be a little more, and I had said this in a past video, a little more flexible with those lighter shoes on. I should never have went to aluminum shoe. I should have went to a half-inch, half-round trotting shoe, maybe a 9/16. He's powerful enough. He could have went with that. The aluminums were a mistake on my part. And then, to add insult and injury, just absolutely stupid to put a line pull on that horse today. He is too fractious to just, change his gear on training day and go to something like that. That was just absolutely dumb on my part. And that's what happened. I get mad sometimes at our caretakers on training on video day when things aren't right, because you guys are watching, right? It's not just training day. Mistakes happen. And a wasted training day is a wasted training trip. But I should have known better than to try and put that line pull on him today, and that was my fault. So what had happened with hanger 1, a little choppy in the score down, but his attitude is getting better. He's actually a likable horse. He's the horse you see hot and fractious and leaping, being bad sometimes. That's not him all the time. He wants to be a better horse. And I know that because he's quiet in the barn. He's very, very behaved in his stall. He's not a bad horse at all in that way. Today, the way he was 2 weeks ago, again, another horse with all the corks on. That played a role. I'm sure that played a component. That was a role today. But the head pull was the tipping point. The line pull was the tipping point. As we started into the backstretch, he got on the left line a little bit. He hit that pull. He leaned up in it, and then he got mad, and he jumped forward. And that is exactly what he did. Now, you might say, well, Anthony, he has to learn. He does, but he doesn't have to learn on a day when we're videoing our training. And that was just a stupid thing that I did. I shouldn't have done. And, I know from time to time we people that'll message me and say, Anthony, the horses act up. Maybe try this, maybe try that. I don't mind the fact that he acted up. He has to learn to wear a line pull. He has to learn to potentially wear a head pull at some point. All the gear we have on them, they have to learn, and they will learn to wear it. Just video day was not a day to try it. Wednesday would have been fine. Or last Wednesday would have been fine. Saturday would have been fine. This Friday would have been fine. Tomorrow would have been great. Not today. So that was my fault for all my partners in Hanger 1. That was not a good depiction of how he's been the last 3 weeks, because he has been doing much better, and today was my fault. Uncle Danny was awesome. You guys got a quick look at Uncle Danny. He was good. I talked to Mike about Perfection Hanover. He said he's going to draw blood on him tomorrow. Well, again, we're going to get all the winter cork off him. We're going to get the flip-flops off him, put full swedges on him. Maybe let his hobbles out a hole. Put the gear on him. He said he was running in a little bit. He's a big boy. He can wear a head pull.
He has one.
You have a head pull on the inside of him?
Yes.
And he's still on the right line?
Yes. So I was going to put Murphy on him.
No. Are you sure he's not laying on the head pull?
I'm positive he's not.
Then why is he on the right line the whole way?
He was really bad in the turns, but he wasn't. He was
okay.
Just...
Then we'll put a Murphy blind on. That's fine. That would be my next question, though, for a horse that we broke and was on the left line, or a Murphy blind and a bit burr on the outside.
I know.
And now, training 6 weeks later, he's on the right line to the point he needs a head pull and the Murphy on the inside. What's at play here? And so, again, maybe we'll have a look at him tomorrow. I'll go with him tomorrow morning. Steph's Hope was scratched because of her knees. So, and Love Sensation was good. Jolene Hall, I doubt he'd admit it, but I think Jason maybe put him in a little deep. Merriman come first over with her. She looked great, and then she rolled off stride. I think she might have just got a little...
last turn.
Yeah. Might have got a little rolly and rolled off stride on Jason. Uncle Danny, lights out, fantastic. You guys got a quick glimpse of how good he is today. Perfection Hanover, he might have looked good, but he hasn't been good since he got that virus. So
I was a little unhappy. I know he finished second, but he was like just kind of licking his chops around the last turn on Jason's helmet, and then I tipped him off, and no one was home. So that's
the thing. What is going on with this horse? So I don't think it's anything serious. It's certainly nothing that we can't manage. We just have to figure out what is. So we'll do that with Perfection Hanover. He trained okay, but I expect a lot more from this horse. So Uncle Danny, Hanger 1, Jolene Hall, Love Sensation, and Perfection Hanover all talked about. 7th set we went out with. I think Eric is underutilizing Megan's Lucky Day. I trained her the last 3 weeks, and she was very, very strong. I think he was more worried about keeping her quiet than he was putting her to work today. And when I watched the replay, he ended up like 5th but kind of sitting in the middle on the outside. I want her advancing. So next week she's going to work a lot harder. I was a little disappointed with Captain Doolittle. We got to head of lane. You could see what he did. He boxed his gate up, touched himself, and made a break. He shouldn't be boxing his gate up. He should be coming through his hobbles and working. Now, as I say that, maybe that was his problem. Maybe his hobbles are a little too tight for him now, because he's been pretty good gated. He's not coming close to his shins now. He's just barely getting up close to his knee. He needs shod. So we're going to make a few little changes with Dr. Doolittle and his shoeing and his equipment next week. His what?
It's a captain.
What did I call him?
Doctor.
Dr. Doolittle. Captain Doolittle. Captain Doolittle. Sorry. Captain Doolittle. But he did a little more. he did a lot more than he's been doing the last little while. He trained great on Saturday. He's been training good. I won the set with him last week in 241 and come back today. I thought he was a little flat around the last turn, and I didn't like the way that he kind of boxed his gate up and gave up on me. But again, that's indicative of just pouring the work to him. And the thing is, now we had the equipment on him to get him gated, to get him moving, to get him trotting forward, but it may be a little cumbersome. Now, let his hobbles out. Take those bell boots off. Allow the horse to stretch out a little bit, and that's what we have to do with Captain or Dr. Doolittle, either one. Capistrano Nights was good, finished up well. I liked the pop from in New York on the end of it. Tyler said he kind of got a little rocky when he got touching himself in the end of it. I said, yeah, but he pushed through, didn't he? He said, yeah, he's a tough little bugger. He did his work well. He was finishing up really well. You won the set with He's a Fearless Peter. So I had a couple of our partners with Peter message me, say, man, that colt looked good today. And he did. AC/DC looked good, although he's got that splint to be crowd. That's kind of how I wanted to see Solidarity put forth an effort today. And the fact that he couldn't, I think, was, I want to call it mostly out of habit and not out of any sort of cowardly behavior. I like Solidarity quite a bit. He's never shown me any bad traits other than those breaks. So we just got to work on those breaks. As I said, crowd those splints tomorrow. Let his hobbles back out 6 holes from where they were. Send him over to Ontario and let him train down. I'm going to send him and riding the rodeo over to Ontario. And then Megan's lucky day, as I said, I think just underused today. Not the end of the world. I've trained her hard. She's screwed down tight. If Eric's just wants to be safe with her today and conservative, then so be it. I don't care. It's fine. I would like to see her have a big flash of speed on the end of it. I know she can. I think he was just being a little conservative with her, which is okay. So let's go through 3 things. We'll talk about the horses with you that you went with. I'm going to talk about my naughty list today. Then I'm going to talk about my top list today. And there were a few more naughties than I'd like to talk about, but it happens. It happens. Today was a beautiful day. There was no weather to blame. I am going to blame the corks a little bit. But again, as I said to everybody, trust but verify. We're going to take the corks off, and you're going to watch them train next week, and then you'll see for yourselves. Don't count on me. Just don't leave it up to me to tell you. As I said, that's my thought process, my own personal thought process. We'll go from there. So you, Mrs. McDonald, in the first set had Jailbird Jog.
I should have went with her today.
Oh, really? Why not?
Because I knew she was horsing, and I don't get along with her when she's acting like that.
Who sent me this?
I don't know. I was going to ask you.
Did you read this?
Yeah.
It's from Las Vegas. Oh, I see who it's from. No, it just says from somebody's collection. It says, hey, Anthony, great place for a group outing. Folks trying to start a new standardbred track in Nevada, FYI.
Nevada?
Yeah, cool. Thank you. So Jailbird Jog, what happened again?
She's just being rude.
Being a little rude? Yeah, you thought she was in heat today?
Yes. She's been in heat for a couple of days.
Well,
Unless she did that to me the last time. And then I stopped going with her.
Maybe she might find it easier to do her work tomorrow if I go with her. What do you think?
Yeah?
Maybe. I'll go with Jailbird Jog today. We'll see tomorrow. We'll see what she's all about tomorrow.
Because she's been good the last 3 times I went with her, but I'm sure people are sick of hearing that one. They're really good when the video's not there.
You could be right. You were off until set 4. You went on Sarah. She was better.
I was in set 2.
You were in set. Oh, yeah, Sterling Hanover. How was it? I told everybody he flipped out a little bit. He lost his shoe, so
hit you in the eye.
Hit me in the eye. I told everybody he bulldogged me, and I told everybody I shouldn't have been standing there, and it can happen to everybody.
Yeah,
and I told our caretakers, you put yourself in stupid places, and bad things can happen. I'm lucky I just got a minor shiner and a little cut here. I could have got a broken leg and trampled. So, and that was not Sterling Hanover's fault. A little bit, but mostly my fault. So, how was he in the mile?
He was good.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure how he'd be without having a shoe on, and yeah, he was good.
Good. He looked good. I thought he finished up really strong.
He almost passed those horses. Anyway.
Yep.
And they got a run right in front of him,
Yep.
and I was like, no, because I never take him off a helmet.
Yeah, no,
And
he looked good.
I lost it and he was good.
So you weren't in the third. You were scratched. Oh, by the way, Blue Rare was great.
I heard that.
Oh yeah, who told you that?
You.
Oh, sorry, I forgot. Aunt Sarah. So when we went with Aunt Sarah the other day, she was a little right hind pulling up, but she just got shod, so we took the shoes off her. I told Enos make sure he takes the cork off her, and this is the difference. I want you guys to understand this. Little off, little rough. I pulled her shoe off. We pulled her over the weekend. Enos put the shoes on her, no cork. How was she today? Because you were the one who went with her the other day.
Yeah, no, she was good.
Yeah, she was awesome finishing up her mile.
Actually, she's coming off that right line a little bit. I'd like to take something off the inside.
Well, we'll see about that. We'll put that in the suggestions box and see how it works out.
Thanks.
No problem. How was Millie Girl? Was good again? Yes.
Yep.
Just need to make one little change. Perfection Hanover, you said was good, but a little flat. And you didn't have one in the last?
Yeah, Peter.
Oh, yeah, Peter, you won the set. It was the first time you went with him? How was he? I hadn't gone with him in a long
He's
time.
very polite. Him and Sarah are very polite.
And he was such a ruthless little mongrel when he was a stud at Christmas time. Such a nice horse now that we castrated him. So that's Amy's list. I'm going to give you my naughty list. Jailbird Jog she's gonna go again tomorrow. See how funny she is tomorrow. I'll have Enos take those corks off her in the morning, and I'll go with her. We'll start with one list at a time. So Jailbird Jog is on the list. Emerald Tom and Rico Tubbs have never done a thing wrong in their life. I'm not putting them on any list just because they made breaks today.
Emerald Tom made a break?
Around the last turn. That's how Bobby run.
Oh,
Emerald Tom run, and Joey just didn't get out of the way quick enough, and I got right up, and she was good. She almost stayed at it right on top of him for about 2 Mississippis, and then she finally... No, she didn't flip out. I think she just got a little spooked and lost her gait. She didn't bolt. She didn't boil over. She didn't do anything wrong. Nothing that happened to her was her fault today, and she was perfect up until that point. When I moved her on cover, she was quiet. She caught up to Joey, no problem.
Over anyone?
No, she was perfect the whole day.
I was going to say...
You just got to talk to her, and she just gets a little frazzled. And if you just let her settle, she's fine. And she was perfect today. That break was not her fault at all.
I was going to say, Jailbird Jog was good.
Mm-hmm.
And then nobody was moving, so I was like, okay, well, I'll move.
Yeah, we got to more people
so
should be moving.
I'm not trying to blame other people, but what I'm saying is, when I had her on the helmet, I know we were going slower the first lap, but when I moved her out to go, I knew she was going to run like 5 steps before she did.
Yeah, that shouldn't be.
And then she wouldn't try any turn after that.
Well, we'll see if she trots tomorrow. Who else? Okay, so we got Jailbird Jog on the naughty list. That's one. Second set, everybody was perfect. Degas.
You got to go with her. I don't know why she's doing that.
That's twice in the last week she did. It's got to be the corks because
she
this
just
filly
got shot on Monday. All her toes were chopped off because she...
You might be answering your own question.
No, she was knuckling over because her feet were too long.
She didn't knuckle over today.
Yes, she did. I was right behind her.
No, I don't think so. You sure? Okay, I'll go with her again tomorrow. We'll put her on the naughty list. Well, if Degas watching, I wasn't putting you on the naughty list, but Amy's forced me to. So you're on the naughty list. So I'll go with her also. Solidarity is just disappointing. So I'm not putting him on the list. I'm putting him on the trucking list. That's the only list he's going on. Everybody else was perfect in there. Neuromancer's not going on the list, but he does need to just got to tinker with those shoes a little more, get the winter cork off him. I'm going to try and take the bars off him behind. I think they're jamming him up a little bit to begin with. So 2 things. We're going to take the corks off him behind and just grind the cork off and put those shoes on his wall, on his stall. Put a normal set of full swedges on him and see if he'll trot like that. Take the cork off him up front. Needs to be tipped just maybe blunt his toe a little bit also. He's just touching one knee, but the knee is because he's touching behind. He's so close to being perfect. He's just not right yet. So I'm not putting him on the list, but I am going to continue to work with him. Judy's Money, I'm not going to put her on the naughty list, but I am going to put her in that group because I think she's been a little flat her last 3 or 4, and Judy's going to do some heavy lifting over the next 4 or 5 days. We're going to get her back in the swing of things real quick.
Did she run today?
She didn't run, but she was flat and going through the wire. You went by her with Aunt Sarah. I went by her with Neuromancer. Tomboy Strong and Highest Honors were gone. The only horse that didn't pass her is Royal Flush Deal. And although, again, I'll put him in the slob list for this week. Him and Judy's Money are going to do some heavy lifting over the next few days. But there's only 2 horses really on the break list, on the naughty list. That was set 4. Every pacer was perfect. My name is Swaney. I'm not even going to worry about that. I know exactly what it was. Hanger 1 I'll continue to work with. Today it was my fault. My fault today. You get those 9/16ths back on him. Take the aluminum shoes off him. Get the winter cork off him behind. And not do stupid things like that on video day. So I'll just keep working with him. And then Captain Doolittle, I guess, he just needs to continue to work and get the winter cork off him. So really, I thought to be a lot more horses on the naughty. It's just Jailbird Jog and Degas, and I think the Degas thing's an easy fix. Jailbird Jog just needs to do a little work tomorrow. But for the most part, we have 4 or 5, maybe 6 horses that I have to work with over the next week. But no real concerns at all. None of like, oh my God.
The track was like, I don't know.
The track was fine today. It was just like summer. It was perfect.
It was a little bumpy.
No, they worked it all right this morning. I didn't find it that bad. But it was not our best training day. Who got the honors list today? For sure, Steady Volo continues to stay on there. Go Strong Hanover was absolutely awesome. Sterling Hanover, I thought, greatly improved and very, very good.
I can't believe you said that after he knocked you out.
I'm not going to blame the horse for me being in a stupid place. Joe J. Fotag is much, much better today. I won that set. I thought that he'd get up and beat me. You didn't think you won, did you?
I knew it was close. I didn't think
you were third.
I can't believe I got him up the inside when he was running out so bad.
Well, he's just doing his work good. So those 3 horses in there did their work good. Sterling Hanover, Joe J. Fotag. Again, when the horses are improving every week, you have to talk about them. There's 4 so far that were great. Supermind was very good. Leland Hanover was good. Don't Ask Him was good, but great in that set was Blue Rare. I come from a country mile away.
That was nice of you to put her in with those horses.
I gave them a 6-length head start when the horse ran in front of me in the last turn. I gave them literally a head start and then run them all down. She was incredible again. So there's all 4 of them in that set were good. Aunt Sarah, I thought, looked fantastic. Tomboy Strong continues to be fantastic, and Highest Honors was good again. Sneaky Goods. Nobody talks about this horse.
Yeah, he
was very good again today, and he's been very
up
good.
The inside.
Yeah, he's been very, very good. And then every pacer today needs a nod. I even talked about Diosa Deladano. So listen, she could have made a break. She could have jumped over something. She could have done something wrong today. She chose to do it right. So she belongs on there, same as everybody else does. Last set, Uncle Danny was awesome. Perfection was okay. And Love Sensation, I thought, looked good also. That was the 6th set. 7th set, He's a Fearless Peter was fantastic.
Oh, that was Uncle Danny?
That drove away?
I couldn't get...
Yeah.
I thought it was Steady Volo.
No, well, Uncle Danny is a very good horse, too, in case you're wondering. He's no joke.
I just assumed it was Steady Volo.
No, he won the earlier set. I think he won it, didn't he? Yeah. It was very close to the wire, but I think he did. He beat Go Strong Hanover. He's a Fearless... I
realized that was Uncle Danny.
Yeah, he's no joke. He's a legit horse. He's always been one of our best horses. He just was really good from the start, and we just stopped talking about him for some reason. The horse is a fantastic horse. And then the last set, if you're going to talk about horses that were great, He's a Fearless Peter was the only one that was fantastic, although almost everybody in that set I was very, very happy with. Were you happy with Memento Mori today?
I was, yeah.
He was very good.
And I was very happy that he's eating everything.
Yeah, I told you, he's starting to come around. Come around, I told you, they can't hide. Good horses always find
So he's
ways
like
better.
he's feeling better.
Yes, feeling better. He's trotting better. Oddly enough, they run hand in hand. I'm going to keep this card because I still don't know who it's from. I have no idea who it's from. Melisandre was exceptionally good this morning.
I didn't get to see her because
she
I took
was
the kids to
exceptionally good this morning. She can train. We'll train her in Arrowhead 2-1 on Friday, and then qualify at least one of the 2 of them. Well, Melisandre will for sure qualify next week. I think Arrowhead Hanover will be ready to go. I'm going to do a little vet work on a couple of the horses. Put the hobbles back on Arrowhead Hanover, and then he should be fine.
He said he needed a gating pole, but
He does. He needs a gating pole,
not
but
in the jug cart.
no. But the question I have is, why does he need a gating pole? Is it just that jack that he touched that's bruised a little bit? More than likely. But we're going to throw the hobbles on him and help him out on Friday also. So we'll see how everything plays out. But now that I talk it through, I guess not. And listen, I'm an optimistic person, but I was a little disappointed with the training today when I factor in the breaks from Emerald Tom and Rico Tubbs, amongst other horses that I know just weren't themselves today. I'm more apt to blame the winter cork. We had some straight up breakers that shouldn't have made breaks. Jailbird Jog is one of them. Now she's cork on, but she was more rude than anything today. She's going to work tomorrow. And Degas, as Amy said, got shod, likely had her toes chopped off a little bit. When we do that, you should just add an extra set of bell boots. I didn't know that she had just been shod, so that was on me and you guys also just as much. So all in all, some of the horses were fantastic. Some were okay. We did have some that got to do a little work. But I think the biggest takeaway from today, there was no horses that really, truly let me down, where I was like, oh, Jesus. Oh, solidarity, but you just can't blame the horses. Something going on there. We'll crowd those splints, get him over to Ontario, let his hobbles back out, because clearly that doesn't help, and let him do his work. And that's what we need to get back to, with solidarity. So with that, 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
Oh my gosh.
Little update for everybody on everything that went on today. Happy with the draws. As I said, time is on my side. We'll race in the Open at Mohawk on Saturday night. Now, if James doesn't drive him, I'll go drive him. But I would hope James drives him. You know, this horse is going to be in the Graduate. He's going to be racing potentially in the Jaravinsky. James should drive this horse. Arson is in. He drew the 3-hole in the Meadows on Friday, so a little switcheroo there. And we get a couple of 2-year-olds heading to Ontario also. So with that, good luck to everybody tonight. I think I have Cadeau tonight. And poor Tenacious Hanover drew the 8-hole in a 10-horse field on a half-mile track. It doesn't get much worse than that. It really doesn't. So, take care. I will talk to you soon. If you have any questions about the horses today or general in any way, shape, or form, drop me a line. I'll be happy to talk to you. Take care.